Franz Kafka, a name that echoes through the halls of literature, was a writer who captured the complexities of the human experience. Born in 1883 in Prague, Kafka's life was a blend of personal challenges and societal changes. These elements deeply influenced his writing, making him a voice for the unheard and the misunderstood. Kafka's stories delve into the feelings of being lost in a world that often seems nonsensical and overwhelming. He wrote about characters who face bizarre and challenging situations, reflecting our own struggles to find meaning and identity. One of Kafka's most famous works, The Metamorphosis, tells the story of a man who suddenly turns into a giant insect. This strange twist isn't just for shock, it's a profound exploration of isolation and identity. It makes us ask, how does the world see us? And how do we see ourselves? Throughout this video, we'll explore Kafka's key themes and how they connect to our lives today. Kafka's perspective offers a unique lens to view the absurdities and challenges of modern life. In The Metamorphosis, Franz Kafka tells the story of Gregor Samsa, who wakes up one day to find himself transformed into a giant insect. This bizarre event turns Gregor's life upside down, but it's not just a weird tale. It's a deep look into feeling out of place and losing one's identity. Imagine waking up and realizing the world sees you completely different. This is what happens to Gregor. His physical change is extreme, but it symbolizes something we all might feel at some point: the sense of being alienated, misunderstood, and disconnected from those around us. Gregor's struggle isn't just about his physical form, it's about trying to hold on to who he is when everything has changed. Kafka uses this extreme situation to ask us, what makes us who we are? Is it how we look, how others see us, or something deeper? Kafka once said, I am constantly trying to communicate something incommunicable. This line captures the essence of the metamorphosis. It's about the struggle to express who we truly are in a world that may not understand or accept us. As we delve deeper into Kafka's world, we'll see how these themes of alienation and identity are not just historical curiosities. They are living, breathing issues that resonate with us even today, in a world that's more connected yet often more isolating than ever before. In Franz Kafka's The Trial and the Castle, we encounter stories that paint life and societal systems, an absurd and often incomprehensible. These systems aren't just about the plot, they're a deep dive into the confusing and sometimes frustrating nature of our existence. The trial follows Joseph K., who was arrested and prosecuted by a remote authority. With the nature of his crime never revealed to him, this situation might sound surreal, but it reflects a real feeling many of us have: the sense that life's rules are confusing and sometimes feel unjust. Kafka's story makes us question the systems we live in and how much control we really have over our lives. The Castle tells the story of a man who struggles to gain access to a mysterious castle, a place he believes holds the key to his destiny. The more he tries, the more elusive it becomes. This story is Kafka's way of exploring our search for meaning and place in a world that often seems indifferent to our efforts. Kafka once wrote, in the fight between you and the world, back the world. This quote captures the essence of these stories. They show us characters in a constant struggle against forces larger than themselves, echoing the battle we all face in trying to carve out our meaning in the world. As we delve into these stories, we begin to see Kafka not just as a writer of strange tales, but as a philosopher who used fiction to explore deep truths about the human condition. His work prompts us to reflect on the absurdities we encounter in our own lives and how we navigate them. The term Kafkaesque has become a shorthand for situations that are nightmarishly complex, illogical, and oppressive. Much like the worlds Franz Kafka created in his stories. But what does this really mean, and why does it matter to us today? Kafka's writings often show characters trapped in bewildering bureaucratic systems. Take The Trial, for instance, where the protagonist faces an incomprehensible legal process. It's not just about a court case, it's about how sometimes life feels like navigating through a maze of rules and systems that don't make sense. It's about feeling powerless in the face of large impersonal forces. In stories like The Castle, Kafka shows us the struggle of an individual against seemingly insurmountable odds. It reflects a universal theme: to fight, to maintain our identity and purpose in a world that often seems indifferent or even hostile to our efforts. Kafka once remarked, "Every revolution evaporates and leaves behind only the slime of bureaucracy." This observation highlights his belief in the persistence of complex systems that can feel suffocating and inescapable. It's a sentiment that resonates in today's world with its intricate structures of power and governance. In Franz Kafka's world, transformation is a recurring theme, both in literal sense and metaphorically, as his characters often undergo profound changes. These transformations are not just physical but also deeply symbolic, revealing insights into identity and human nature. For instance, in the Metamorphosis, Gregor Samsa's transformation into an insect is a stark and unsettling image. However, it is more than just a physical change. It symbolizes the alienation and disconnection we can feel in our own lives. Kafka uses this extreme scenario to explore questions of identity and belonging in a world that can often be indifferent and even cruel. Freedom, a theme closely tied to transformation in Kafka's work, is often portrayed as a double-edged sword. His characters seek freedom from societal constraints, yet this pursuit often leads to more confusion and isolation. It shows how freedom isn't just about breaking free from external controls, but also about understanding and accepting oneself. Kafka's stories constantly grapple with the search for meaning. His characters are typically thrust into situations where traditional values and norms don't apply, forcing them to question the very foundations of their existence. This search for meaning, often unfutile, reflects our own journey through life's uncertainties. Kafka's narrative invites us to reflect on our transformations and quest for freedom and meaning in a world that's constantly changing. Where old certainties no longer hold, his work remains as relevant as ever. It's challenging us to confront our fears, embrace our transformations, and find our place in an ever-evolving world. As we come to the end of our exploration of Franz Kafka's work, it's clear that his influence extends far beyond the boundaries of early 20th century literature. Kafka's unique perspective on the human experience has made a lasting impact on both literature and philosophy, inspiring countless writers and thinkers. Kafka's ability to capture the complexity of human emotions and the absurdity of the world around us has made his work timeless. His themes of alienation, the struggle for identity, and the quest for meaning in an often incomprehensible world continue to resonate with readers and thinkers today. His stories, though set in a different era, speak to the modern human experience, the Kafkaesque dilemma of navigating complex systems. The feeling of being overwhelmed by forces beyond our control, and the search for personal identity in a rapidly changing world are experiences that are familiar to us all. Reflecting on Kafka's legacy, we find that his works serve as a mirror, reflecting our innermost fears and struggles. They encourage us to question, to reflect, and to confront the complexities of our existence. As Kafka himself said, a book must be the axe to the frozen sea within us. His works are precisely that, tools that break the ice, allowing us to delve into depths of our consciousness. As we conclude the journey through Kafka's philosophical world, we're left with a deeper understanding of not just his work, but also of ourselves and the world we live in. Kafka's stories are not just narratives, they are experiences that challenge us, that make us think, and that stay with us long after we've turned the last page. It's important to reflect on the lesson his work impacts. Kafka, through his unique storytelling, offers us a deeper understanding of the human condition, revealing insights about our own lives and the world we inhabit. One of the key lessons is the recognition of life's inherent absurdities. His stories show us that the world doesn't always make sense, and that sometimes we find ourselves in situations that defy logic. Rather than seeking to control every aspect, Kafka teaches us the value of adapting and finding meaning within the chaos. Kafka's characters often face extreme challenges, yet their journeys reveal the importance of resilience even in the face of overwhelming odds. There's a strength in continuing to search for understanding and purpose. This resilience is something we can all apply in our lives, especially when confronted with difficult or inexplicable circumstances. Perhaps one of the most powerful lessons from Kafka is the power of perspective. His work encourages us to look at the world as our place in it. From different angles, it urges us to question our assumptions and to consider the deeper implications of our actions and systems we are part of. In the end, Kafka's stories are more than just narratives. They are reflections on life, offering us a lens through which we can examine our own existence. His work challenges us to think, to question, and to search for our own path, even amidst the uncertainties of life.